Hey y'all, with all this firewood that I gotta put up every year, I gotta put up at least 6 cord every year. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. And I decided I wanted to make the best SawBuck ever built in 2020. And so I decided to put a plan together. And I started thinking and wondering and really dwelling on the thought. I started pacing. And then it hit me. I got the idea. Boom, it hit me just like a flashlight in my head. But then I had to figure it on out how I was going to put it together. So then I started sat down at my drafting board and I started drawing and working out the measurements in my head to make sure that it was going to go. And this is what I come up with, folks. I want to show you how you can make the perfect sawbuck in 2022. Relatively simple. So come along, watch the video with me, folks, and tell me what you think about the sawbuck. And if you like the sawbuck, if you think it's a great idea, come along with me, folks. First thing's going, we got to get a spot cleared on now for the Starbucks to even build it at. So that's what we're going to be doing there. But in the meantime, hey, hon, will you fetch me a cup of coffee?
Get your own, get your own, old man.
No respect. Well, now that I got that kind of cleaned up, while I'm cleaning on up, the next thing I got to do is I got to position the legs just right for the sawbuck. And I'll tell you what, we got to be precise where we're positioning the legs. I mean, that's very crucial. You see, when you're positioning these legs, you want to make sure that they're far enough apart, but not too far apart. If you make them too far apart, then your sawbuck, the table will fall down in between. So you got to have those legs very precise. And I do mean it very precise, not only for the width, but for the height there. You got to make sure it's exactly how. You get it too high, and you got to get an extension ladder to get up on top to cut your firewood. And if you get it too low, you got to get down on your knees. Don't want that. So now we've got the legs established and they're the perfect height. Now let's get the logs on there for the start, for the what's it called? I don't know. My wife's distracted me with all that noise she's making over there. Woman, would you get some more firewood in here, by the way? I mean, don't you got stuff to do? You got firewood to split outside. You don't need to be in here making noise while I'm editing.
I
Man,
can't do that. I can't hold a chainsaw. Too heavy.
well, learn how. Jeez. Now, like I was saying earlier, it's pretty important that you have the logs, your legs, saw legs, set far enough apart where your sawbuck logs don't fall in between. But also, you don't want them so close together, that you make a teeter totter. No, sirree, you don't want your sawbuck to be a teeter totter. So you got to be very precise when you position your legs. And it looks like we got it positioned just right here, folks. We got it perfect. Well, now we got them sawbuck logs right in the right position, right where they got to go. Now we got to get them wedged on in so they can't roll off when you're working. It would suck to have one of those logs roll off onto your toe, wouldn't it? Those logs ain't light, they're pretty heavy. So yeah, we got to wedge those on in so they won't roll off when we're working it, or in an earthquake, or who knows whatever. I don't want to have to lift those logs back up. I about broke my back lifting those logs up there, as you seen. Well, I'd say that went pretty well. Didn't go too bad at all. Now we got this all back together. Throw some boards on there to cut on up, and let's give it a try. But first of all, we gotta get the chainsaw sharpened up. Well, it's already sharp, fueled up. Get the bar oil in it and get it ready to go. And we'll see how this goes. Well, I want to tell you how it goes. It actually went quite well. Now, I want to tell you, when you're cutting your firewood, you got to be precise on cutting firewood. There's something that a lot of people don't understand when you're cutting firewood. It's really, really, really important that you cut your firewood just the perfect length. Now, if your firewood is cut 5/32 of an inch too short, then the air can flow around the ends faster and it burns the wood a lot faster, and poof, your firewood's gone. But if you cut that firewood even 5/32 of an inch too long, then it's going to slow down the burn and it's going to take forever. And it's going to start smoking up and start plugging up your chimney. And you'll have to send your wife into the chimney with a smoke shovel to clean it on out. So you got to make sure that you cut your firewood just perfect. Because if you don't, you're in a heap of trouble. Yes, sir, you're in a heap of trouble. Creating yourself a whole lot of work. Now, I tell you what, though, folks. Really, for real, I like this sawbuck. Now, I do have some plans made up in my head, right up here, that I'm going to be doing some improvements for the sawbuck. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. I have some really easy ideas to use with a sawbuck that I think y'all might be interested in. So make sure if you ain't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscription button and ring my bell for future notifications, because I do have some really good ideas to make things even better yet with the sawbuck. And when I make that video of what I do with the sawbuck, then I'll take you along for the ride and show you the improvements of what I've done. But anyway, enough of that. Let's watch the rest of this video here. The bottom line was making yourself a sawbuck, if you want to call it that, is anything that can make the job easier on your back. In this particular case, I can throw a log up here, cut it into length, and the log doesn't hit the ground. I can throw brush up here, branches. I can throw my cants up here, my scab wood, whatever. And when I get to cut it, well, I don't have to bend over to pick it up off the ground to split it or to load it in the tractor. I can just take it, wrap them here to my wood splitter, split it, put it in the bucket, and haul it up to the woodshed, all without bending over. Hey y'all, that top video right up there, it was picked out just for you. And this video that's down here, well, that's my most recent on the playlist. So check it on out if you haven't watched it already. And go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. The subscribe button is right down there, right below us. Well, somewhere right down there. Yep. Click it. Click it. Click it, I tell you.